Is this thing on? It is. All right, welcome back to Layup Lines, the college basketball preview and projection show here. I'm your host, Shoot DaRock, and fellas or ladies, whoever's watching this, we don't discriminate. Everyone that loves college basketball, it is time to get locked in on college hoops. I know the Super Bowl is this weekend, but the real Super Bowls are happening Friday and Saturday night here in college basketball. So make sure that you're tuning into these games, and in the comments, drop your picks on these games. I want to hear, people dropping their picks, putting their money where their mouth is. Who y'all got winning this one? And while you're down there, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. There'll be a lot of college basketball content coming between now and Selection Sunday, and let's get into it. So we start here with probably the Big East game of the season on Friday night. I think I'm going to be live on Twitch watching this one, reacting to this one. We have the third-ranked UConn Huskies, 22-1 on the year, 12-0 in the Big 12. Head to Madison Square Garden, take on the 22nd-ranked St. John's Red Storm, 17-5 on the year, 10-1 here in Big East play. The top two teams here in the Big East. So UConn, they're led by Solo Ball, averaging 14 points per game. Terrace Reed, their leading rebounder, with 7. And Silas Demery, leading assist man, with 6. On the St. John's side, Zuby 4 leads every category, 15 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Both these teams red hot. Like I'm saying here, UConn hasn't lost in Big East play. They haven't lost since December at home to Arizona. St. John's did drop that one early in Big East play to Providence, but ever since then, they haven't lost. And they got the home court advantage here and give UConn their first ranked test since that loss in December to Arizona. So looking here at the metrics, UConn 27th offensive efficiency, 7th best defensive efficiency. St. John's the 33rd offense and the 13th defense. UConn shoots 49% from the floor, 36% from 3 to St. John's 47% from the floor, also 36% from 3. So, like I said, this is the game to watch here in the Big East this year. I'm very excited for this one. These are hands down top two teams in the league. But I just kind of think there's levels to this. I still think, even though these are the top two teams, UConn is just head and shoulders better than St. John's. Granted, this one is here at the Garden. So St. John's, technically does have the home court advantage, but UConn fans travel well, especially to a place like MSG. So I don't think it's going to be a huge home court advantage, and for that reason, I'm going with UConn. They're projected to lose here by 1 point on Haslametrics. I don't know. I forget if there's lines out for this one. UConn is a 1.5 point favorite, so I'm going to go with the Huskies to get the win here against St. John's. Then sticking in the Big East, moving here to Saturday, we have the Villanova Wildcats, 17-5 on the year, 8-3 in the Big East, head to the Georgetown Hoyas, 13-10 on the year, 5-7 in the Big East. This one's at noon Eastern time here on TNT on Saturday. So Villanova led by Bryce Lindsey with 13 points. Duke Brennan, their leading rebounder, with 10. And then Lewis, their leading assist man, with 5. On the Georgetown side, Lewis, their leading points scorer, with 15. Williams, leading rebounder, with 5. And then Malik Mack, leading assist man, with 4. So both these teams here on winning streaks. Villanova won 2 straight in 3 of their last 4. Won the previous meeting against Georgetown in D.C. 66-51 back on January 21st. Georgetown, since that loss to Villanova, though, won 4 straight against Creighton, Butler, DePaul, and Providence here. So looking here at the metrics, Villanova 40th offensive efficiency, 34th defense to Georgetown's 93rd offense and 90th defense. Villanova shoots 47% from the floor, 37% from 3, which is 41st best in the country, to Georgetown's 45% from the floor, 34% from 3. Both these teams play pretty slow, but especially Villanova, who's 352nd in pace. So looking at the projections here, Villanova supposed to take this one here by 4, despite playing, on the road here at Georgetown. They won, like I said, they won that first meeting at home at Villanova. I think I misspoke earlier and said that one was at Georgetown. That one was at Villanova. This one's at Georgetown. So I do think it's going to end up being a close contest with it being in D.C. Granted, that's not a very big home court advantage. That's the only downside of playing, off campus is you don't really get that home court feeling that you would get playing in a campus gym. But I get that, they want to have a bigger arena for this bigger game here. But I like the Wildcats, like I just talked about. Those top 2 teams in the Big East are definitely UConn and St. John's, but I think Villanova is definitely the third best team right now, and they solidify that here. So give me Villanova to get the win in this one. Then we now sticking at noon Eastern time. Moving on to the Big Ten, we have the 16-6 Wisconsin Badgers, who are 8-3 in Big Ten play, head to the 15-8 Indiana Hoosiers, who are 6-6 here in the Big Ten. So Wisconsin, led by Nick Boyd, scoring 20 points per game. Nolan Winter with 8 rebounds, and then Nick Boyd also with 3 assists per game. On the Indiana side, Lamar Wilkerson, their leading scorer, with 20. Tucker DeVries leading rebounder with 5, and then Connor Enright leading assist man with 4. So Wisconsin 1-2 straight after that loss to USC a couple games ago, but beat Minnesota and Ohio State in their last 2 games. Grant haven't played since last weekend, so they're going to be well rested in this one. Indiana coming off a loss at USC in their last game, but on the road there. So both these teams lost to USC, but Indiana also got the win against UCLA and against Purdue before that. So they were playing some good ball. Just came up a little bit short there on the second leg of their West Coast trip. So looking here at the projections, Wisconsin 29th in offensive efficiency, 48th in defense, to Indiana's 25th offense and 46th defense. Wisconsin shoots 46% from the field, 35% from 3, to Indiana's 47% from the field and 36% from 3. Wisconsin, a way quicker team here. They're 94th in pace to Indiana's 227. So looking at the projection here, Indiana actually projected to win this game by 4. I think this one could kind of turn into a bit of a shootout, which does favor Wisconsin, like we're saying here, pace-wise. But Lamar Wilkerson just fills the bucket. Like, he had 30 points in that loss to USC. Like, he's very quickly becoming one of my favorite players to watch here in college basketball this year. You know, a transfer from Sam Houston, now playing at this power conference level, and it's really not seeming to faze him at all. But I don't know, man. Like, I just really like this Wisconsin team, especially the ball they've been playing lately. Granted, that loss at home to USC wasn't a great result, but I don't know. I kind of think Nick Boyd here can kind of keep pace with Wilkerson there, and Wisconsin has some other guards too that, you know, are pretty solid. So give me the Badgers. I like the Badgers to get this win here at Assembly Hall, because I've kind of seen too, like Indiana, I've picked them in a couple of these games here at home. They've let me down, so give me Wisconsin to get the road win. Then move on to the SEC. We had the Iron Bowl. The 15-7 Alabama Crimson Tide head to their rivals, the 14-8 Auburn Tigers. Both these teams are 5-4 in SEC play. This one's at 4 Eastern time here on ESPN2. So Alabama led by LeBaron Philon, scoring 21 points per game and nearly 5 assists, with then Amari Allen leading around with 7. On the Auburn side, Keyshawn Hall leading the way with 20 points and 7 rebounds, and then Tahad Pettiford, the leading assist man, with 3. So these two teams here kind of on opposite side of the spectrum. Auburn had been on a hot streak before losing at Tennessee this week. Alabama on the other side hadn't really been playing great, kind of, you know, win-loss, going back and forth there. Before, you know, they get a nice win here against Texas A&M, who is leading the SEC currently. We'll get to them shortly here. 197 win, you know, high-scoring game, but a close one there. Pulled it out at home against the Aggies. So looking at projections here, Alabama 4th in offensive efficiency, 43rd defense, to Auburn's 6th offense and 52nd defense. Alabama shoots 47% from the field, 36% from 3, to Auburn's 48% from the field, 33% from 3. Alabama likes to play very quick. I mean, we talked about this last game. You see it here. They're scoring 100. They scored 100 points in that last game. They're averaging 91 points per game. They like to play very quick here. Auburn, though, still, you know, while they're 186th in pace, still scoring 84 points per game. So I think this is going to be a pretty high-scoring one. You're seeing it here in the projections, 86-83 Auburn to get the win. But once again, I think I'm going to go against the projections. I just kind of like Alabama's team a little bit more here. Granted, they have kind of burned me at times when I've been picking them. Like I said, they have been kind of on this like win-loss back and forth here. But I just think they're the more talented squad, and I think it's time for them to really turn it on. I mean, Auburn has had some good wins here in SEC play, like winning at Florida a couple weeks ago. But I don't know. I think it's time for the Crimson Tide to really turn it on here. I think that win against the Aggies can really, you know, kind of get them going here. So give me the Crimson Tide to get the win on the road against their rivals. Then we'll stick in the SEC and move on to those Texas A&M Aggies, who are 17-5, 7-2 in the SEC. They host the 17th ranked Florida Gators, who are 16-6, also 7-2 in the SEC. So this is the battle for first place here in the Southeastern Conference. This one's at 8:30 Eastern time here on the SEC network. So Florida, they're led by Thomas Haw, scoring 17 points per game. Roman Shinyulu leading rebounder with 11, and then Boogie Flan leading assist man with nearly 4. for Texas A&M, Rashawn Agee. I was calling him Reggie the other day. Rashawn with 14 points and 8 rebounds, and then Jakari Lane leading assist man with nearly 4 assists as well. So A&M, like I just mentioned, suffered their second loss in SEC play at Alabama during the week. Florida, they haven't played since last Sunday where they beat that Alabama team 100-77 at home here in Gainesville. They've won 2 straight after they lost to Auburn a couple weeks ago. So Florida 15th in offensive efficiency, 9th in defensive to Texas A&M's 23rd offense, 36 defense. Florida shoots 48% from the field and 30% from 3 to Texas A&M's 48% from the field, 37% from 3, which is the 36th best in the nation. Texas A&M is also 6th best here in fast break points. However, Florida 4th best in second chance points. You know, those bigs with Haw and Condon can really go to work. Both these teams play a pretty similar pace. A&M is a little bit quicker, though, 28th in the country to Florida's 63rd, but both like pretty similar here metrics-wise. And this is one, like I said, 2 very similar teams here. You're seeing here Florida projected to get a 3-point win, and I think I'm going to keep going with the road teams in this one. I just think Florida's the more talented team. You kind of saw it here. And like I said, they are leading the SEC now, tied with Florida, but have played a lot of the kind of lesser teams in the SEC, and now they're kind of starting to have the schedule be a little bit tougher. And I just think Haw and Condon should really be able to handle Rashawn Agee, who has been this go-to guy for the Aggies. So I just like Florida's guys more in this one. So give me the Gators to get a road win here, going with another road team. Then final SEC one we're going to feature here also at 7th or 8:30 Eastern time. This one's on ESPN. The 25th ranked Tennessee Volunteers, 16-6, 6-3 in SEC play, head to the 16-7 Kentucky Wildcats, who are 7-3 in the SEC, just a half game back out of first. This is also, a big one here in the SEC. So the Volunteers led by Jacoby Gillespie, scoring 18 points per game with 5 assists, and then Nate Ament, their leading rebounder, with 6. On the Kentucky side, Otega Owe, leading scorer, with 17. Malachi Moreno, leading rebounder, with 6, and then Denzel Aberdeen, leading assist man, with 3. So Kentucky, 1-2 straight here, dominated Oklahoma at home during the week, a 94-78 win, and then won at Arkansas last week, 85-77, after getting blown out by Vanderbilt the game before. So 2 straight wins here for the Wildcats. On the Tennessee side, they've won 4 straight games since their loss at home to Kentucky, where they just really kind of fell apart in the second half. So it will be interesting to see how this second meeting between the two teams goes. So Tennessee is 21st in offensive efficiency, 22nd defense. Kentucky, 42nd offense, 30th defense. Tennessee shoots 49% from the floor, 18th best in the country, and 38% from 3. Kentucky shoots 47% from the floor, 35% from 3. So like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, Kentucky was down big, but came back in the second half, knocked off this Tennessee squad for a come-behind win. But that was just kind of the start of Nate Ament starting to play better for this Tennessee squad. I feel like recently he's been playing really well. So you're seeing here at the projection, this one's like literally projected to be a 1-point game, like within a point, really close one. I think it will be. You saw it here a couple weeks ago. They ended up playing a 2-point game. Granted, Tennessee had a big lead in that one, choked it away. I don't know. I keep picking against Kentucky, and they burn me. So you know what? This time, screw it. I'm going to go with the Wildcats. They've already beat Tennessee here on the road. Now they have them coming to their place. They're projected to win. They play quicker than Tennessee, so they can kind of speed this game up. If Colin Chandler can have a big one, I think that's really the key. And Otega Owe. Otega Owe's been playing a lot better lately, too. I talked about that a little bit on Carter Cast during the week when I made an appearance on there. It was really just like if Otega Owe keeps playing how he can, I think this Kentucky team is a team potentially that could win the SEC. And if they're going to potentially win the SEC, they need to win games like this. So give me the Wildcats to get the win at home. Then we're going to move on to the game before that one here on ESPN. Game of the weekend. You see it back here. Beat Carolina. I am a Duke fan, so I'm going to try it, but I'm going to try to be as neutral as possible in this preview here. That's why I'm wearing the Carolina blue, granted baseball gear with the Brew Crew and the Milwaukee Expos, but I'm trying to keep it neutral here. This one's at 6:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. 4th-ranked Blue Devils, 21-1 on the year, 10-0 here in the ACC. Head to the North Carolina Tar Heels, 14th-ranked team here in the country, 18-4 on the year, 6-3 in the SEC or in the ACC. They want to be in the SEC. They're still in the ACC, stuck with the Blue Devils for now. Duke, led by Cam Boozer, scoring 23 points per game, nearly 10 rebounds and 4 assists. On the Carolina side, Caleb Wilson, 20 points, nearly 10 rebounds as well. And then Kyan Evans, the leading assist man, with 3. So both these teams playing good ball. Carolina's won 4 straight after dropping both their games in the California trip, which that same week Duke swept the California trip. And Duke, as you're seeing here, they haven't lost since December when they blew that game against Texas Tech. They very easily could still be undefeated to this point. But they blew that game, but haven't lost here in the ACC yet. So Duke, 9th best in offensive efficiency here in the country and 4th best defense. Carolina, 12th in offense, 27th in defense. Duke shoots 50% from the field, nearly 51%, which is 9th best in the country, but only 33% from three. Carolina shoots 50% from the field, which is 12th best in the country, and then 37% from three, which is 38th best. So that's really what I think could potentially be the key in this one is if Carolina can knock down their threes, make this into a bit of a three-point shooting contest, that Duke, like I said, they just really aren't a great three-point shooting team here. You've kind of seen it lately. Just that's not really Cam Boozer's game. That's just kind of can then these other guys knock down the threes. So looking at the projections here, Duke is projected to win by 3. I want to say the line here is Duke 5.5. But like I said, I'm going to be neutral here. I'm going to be unbiased. I think I'm going to give Carolina their props. I think this is too good of a Carolina team to get swept by Duke. I know Duke won all 3 meetings last year. And like I said, we kind of talked about this on Carter Cast, like I just mentioned. Definitely give that a listen if you have not. We kind of said the same thing. Like this Carolina team's too talented to get swept. I think they win this one here in Chapel Hill. And just Coach Hubert Davis really has these Carolina guys like the first time in a while really feels like they care about this Carolina brand. I mean, getting Caleb Wilson here, he's diving on the floor. He clearly cares about that Carolina blue there. He wants to get this win against their heated rivals. So I am going to go with North Carolina to get the win in this one. Then we're going to stick in the ACC at 8 Eastern time on the ACC network. We have the 20th ranked Clemson Tigers, 19-4 on the year, head to the California Golden Bears, who are 17-6 here on the year. So this one, like mentioned, at 8 Eastern time on the ACC network. So Clemson, led by Godfrey, scoring 11 points per game, Carter Welling with nearly 6 rebounds, and then Dylan Hunter with 3 assists per game. For the Cal side, they're led by Day-Day Ames with 17 points per game, Lee Dort with 7 rebounds, and then Justin Pippen with 4 assists. So Clemson already got the win here in the first game of the West Coast trip at Stanford, 66-64 during the week. And then Cal, remaining here at home, they took down Georgia Tech, 90-85 at home. They've won 2 straight. Also got a nice win at Miami before, a tough loss at Cal before that, but then also taking down the rival Stanford and beat Carolina before losing to Duke. They lost Duke the game before. Clemson, they're 70th in offense efficiency, 74th defense. Cal, 47th offense, 19th defense. Clemson shoots 47% from the field and 35% from three to Cal's 45% from the field and 38% from three, which is the 23rd best in the country. Clemson likes to play a really slow game. They're 335th in pace to Cal's 169th, which isn't necessarily quick, but like to play, up-tempo compared to Clemson. And I think that's really where this could be the key in this one, is if Cal can play a quicker game, knock down threes, like they're definitely the better three-point shooting team here, speed Clemson up. Clemson is projected to win, but I don't know. It's very tough to win both games here in the West Coast trip. I know they're already out there, but for that reason, I honestly like Cal to get the win here at home. So give me the Golden Bears, get the W here, upsetting Clemson. Then sticking at 8 Eastern time, but now moving over to the Big Ten, we have the 5th-ranked Illinois Fighting Illini, 20-3 on the year, 11-1 in Big Ten play, head to the 10th-ranked Michigan State Spartans, who are 19-4, 9-3 in the Big Ten. So Keaton Wagler, leader for the Illini, with nearly 18 points and 4 assists, and then David Mirkovich, the leading rebounder, with 8. On the Michigan State side, Jeremy Fears, 14 points and nearly 9 assists, and then Jackson Kohler, leading rebounder, with 9. So Illinois, red hot here. They kill They kill Northwestern 84-44, but they've also beat Purdue. They've beat Nebraska. They've beaten a lot of these top teams here in the Big Ten lately, playing red hot. That only loss in Big Ten play was to Nebraska way back in December, like one of those early season Big Ten conference games. Like I said, they now avenged that with the win at the Cornhusker a couple weeks ago. Michigan State, on the other hand, is playing not great. They lose at home to Michigan, and then lose at Minnesota. Minnesota is now 3rd upset win. The Barn, very tough place to play. But even the game before that really didn't look great. Like, took overtime to beat Rutgers, who is not good, the below 500 team here in the Big Ten. So Illinois, they're the number 1 offensive efficiency, 12th defensive to Michigan State's 39th offense and 6th defense. Illinois shoots 47% from the field, 37% from 3 to Michigan State's 48% from the field, 36% from 3. Both these teams play a slower game. Michigan's 244th in pace and Illinois' 310th. So Illinois is projected to win this 1-1. And honestly, how things are going lately, I agree with that. I think Illinois goes on the road and gets a win here. We've already seen it. Like I said last week, Michigan was just the better team than Michigan State. And I think Illinois is probably closer to the Michigan tier than they are to the Michigan State at this point. How well the Fighting Illini have been playing lately. I mean, Keaton Wagler is going to be a top 5 pick of the draft at this point. Andrei Stojakovic can still have big games. Obviously, I talked about David Mirkovich there. This Illinois team is playing really good basketball right now, and Michigan State just is not. I mean, Jeremy Fears is like kicking people. He's going full Grayson Allen. He's having temper tantrums on the court. Like, even Tom Izzo's like talking about it. So, just vibes-wise, I think Illinois, things are going a lot better for them. So give me the Fighting Illini to go on the road, get the win here. Then moving on to the Big 12, the final game we're going to feature here on Saturday. The 8th-ranked Houston Cougars head to the 16th-ranked BYU Cougars. Houston 20-2 on the year, 8-1 in Big 12 play. BYU 17-5, 5-4 in the Big 12. This one's at 10:30 Eastern Time on ESPN, so the late night one. But a lot of really good Saturday night games. I mean, I think I'm having some buddies over, but if I wasn't, I would definitely be going live once again here on Twitch on Saturday watching these games. That's what I'm saying, man. The Super Bowl is not the biggest game this weekend. There's so many good games here in college basketball on Saturday night. So for the Cougars, the Houston Cougars, they're led by Kingston Flemings with 17 points and 5 assists per game, and then Chris Snack Jr., leading rebounder with 7, nearly 8 rebounds per game. AJ DeBansa, leading scorer for the BYU Cougars, nearly 24 points per game. Kaba Keita, leading rebounder with 7, and then Rob Wright III, leading assist man with 5. So Houston won 3 straight after that loss at Texas Tech a couple weekends ago. BYU, on the other hand, have lost 3 straight, getting upset at Oklahoma State during the week as well. And just BYU defensively is really not playing well right now, and that's kind of where a lot of these losses are coming from. So Houston, 20th best offense, 1st in defensive efficiency. BYU, 41st offense, or I'm sorry, 10th offense, 41st defense. Houston shoots 46% from the field, 35% from 3 to BYU's 48% from the field and 37% from 3. BYU, a lot quicker team here. They're 42nd in pace to Houston's 325th. So projections here have Houston to win by 3. And this is one just kind of similar to the last game. I know, the Marriott Center is a tough place to play. Same thing like the Breslin Center. But vibes-wise, Houston just a lot better vibes team than BYU, right? Like I kind of talked about in my weekday games preview is like Oklahoma State, that was like the easy game in this stretch for BYU. Like that was the one they needed to have, and they couldn't get it done. And now like I said, Houston's ranked 8th. Right now, Houston behind Arizona is my pick to win the national championship. I think it's going to be Houston or Arizona that win the Natty. So I think they're kind of the second best team in the country in all honesty. So this can be no easy task for BYU, and especially the way they're struggling defensively and how good Houston is defensively. This isn't going to be an easy one. So for that reason, I am going to go with the Cougars. I'm going with a lot of road teams here, but give me Houston to get the win in Provo at BYU. And sticking in the Big 12, moving on here to Sunday at 1 Eastern Time on Fox, the 13th ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders head to the West Virginia Mountaineers. Texas Tech 16-6 on the year, 6-3 in the Big 12. West Virginia 15-8 on the year, 6-4 in the Big 12. So Texas Tech led by JT Toppin with 21, nearly 22 points and 10 rebounds. Christian Anderson, 7 assists. I mean, they're two guys I talk about literally every preview. Honor Huff, the leading scorer for West Virginia with 15. Bryce Lorient, their leading rebounder with 5. And then Floyd, their leading assist man with 3. So West Virginia had a nice win tonight at Cincinnati, coming from behind 59-54. So they've won 2 of their last 3. They lost at home to Baylor, but won against Kansas State in their previous one. Texas Tech, they've lost 2 straight. After getting upset at UCF over the weekend, they then lost on Monday, Big Monday, to Kansas, a game that they just kind of gave away late as well. So Texas Tech looking to get back here in the win column. Morgantown, never an easy place to play. So Texas Tech 16th in offensive efficiency, 35th in defense to West Virginia's 118th offense, 45th defense. Texas Tech 167th in pace, but West Virginia 363rd. So they like to play very slow. That's what they're going to have to do to slow this game down, but I just don't see it happening. Plus Texas Tech, they shoot nearly 41% from 3, which is 6th best in the country. I don't even think I talked about that. And 47% in the mid-range, which is 4th best in the country. As well as just 49% from the field, which is 25th best in the country. West Virginia, 116th in the country, 45%, and then 35% from 3. So Texas Tech just the better shooting team. Like I talk about every preview, Anderson Toppin really tough to slow down. But even, Jalen Petty's having a good game, Lawan Watts, guys like that, where I just think there's too much talent on this Texas Tech side for Western Union to slow them down. So give me the Red Raiders to get the win here in Morgantown. And then the final one, we'll feature a mid-major contest here on Sunday before the Super Bowl. Get your college hoops in as well. At noon Eastern time on ESPNU, the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes, 20-3 on the year, 8-2 in the American, head to the South Florida Bulls, 15-8 on the year, 7-3 in the American. These are the top two teams here in the American Athletic Conference. This one's at noon Eastern time on ESPNU. So Tulsa, they're led by David Green, who's scoring 17 points a game with 5 rebounds. And then Taylon Riley, their leading assist man, with nearly 4 assists. On the South Florida side, it's Isaiah Nelson with scoring 16 points a game and nearly 10 rebounds, so just about averaging a double-double there. And then C.J. Brown, the leading assist man, with 5. So Tulsa's 30th in offensive efficiency, 160th though in defense, to USF's 61st offense and 118th defense. Tulsa shoots 48% from the floor, and then 39, nearly 40% from three, which is 11th best in the country, to USF's 44% from the floor and 33% from the field. So South Florida likes to play really fast. They're 11th in the country in pace to Tulsa's 132nd. So Tulsa doesn't necessarily play slow, but USF really likes to get down, up and down the court. I mean, when you have a guy like Isaiah Nelson who can just kind of score inside, you can just feed like that, I don't blame them. But a guy that's somehow not one of the leads in this one that I've really enjoyed watching for Tulsa, Miles Barnstable. I think he's going to be the best player here on the court. I mean, Tulsa, like I said, they don't play as quick, but they're still scoring nearly 87 points per game to USF's 90. So like they can kind of hang around there, and they only allow 72 points per game to USF's 79. So I think the Golden Hurricane can stick with them here. USF is projected to get the 1-point win with it being at home, which I could see. I definitely think this would be a close one going down to the wire, but I just like Tulsa. I think they're the better team. So give me the Golden Hurricanes to get the win here. So then just looking here at the rest of the games this weekend, obviously UConn St. John's is the game to watch here on Friday night, but I got to shout out the Missouri Valley. A lot of really good contests here in the MVC, and they're getting TV slots because of it. I mean, more mid-major leagues really should do this, have a lot of their top games on Friday night. I mean, Belmont UIC at 9 Eastern time on ESPNU. Belmont leads the leagues, but UIC's been playing some good basketball lately. That should be a close one. Bradley heads to Northern Iowa at 8 Eastern time on CBS Sports Network. Drake at Illinois State at 8 Eastern time on ESPN. Like those all should be good games. We got Dayton VCU and Loyola Chicago Davidson as well in the A10, and then Brown Yale. Yale still leading the Ivy League there, so that should be a good one. Then Saturday, per usual, the loaded slate here. Baylor heads to Iowa State. Arizona hosts Oklahoma State in that game. Like I said, Oklahoma State fresh off that upset of Texas Tech. Louisville, ranked team, heading to Wake Forest. That's kind of a spooky one. Wake Forest has beat some ranked teams before. Arkansas heading to Mississippi State also to start the day on ESPN2. I feel like Malik Thomas, Darius Acuff against Josh Hubbard could be a fun guard matchup to watch there. Oregon and Purdue at 1 Eastern time on CBS. See if the Boilermakers can kind of continue to right the ship after beating Maryland. Missouri, South Carolina expected to be a close one on 1 Eastern time, SEC Network. Ole Miss heading to Texas. SMU heads to Pittsburgh. Pitt, not very good this year, but you never know. Missouri State and Liberty at 2 Eastern time on CBS Sports Network, two of the better teams there in Conference USA. That's kind of a fun mid-major clash there. Looking at that, then it's really just kind of until like late night. Those are a lot of the goings. DePaul heads to Providence 4 Eastern time on FS1. Towson and Hofstra 4 Eastern time, a good CAA clash there. We also have some good games with the MAC Sunbelt Challenge this weekend, like Toledo heading to JMU at 4 Eastern time. Obviously, the game to watch there in that challenge is going to be, where did it just go? I had it on my screen. But Miami, Ohio, still undefeated on the year, projected to head to Marshall. That one's at 4 Eastern time on ESPN Plus as well. Miami is projected to win that one, but I don't know. That's the toughest remaining game there on their schedule. Gonzaga heads to Oregon State after they just lost to Portland. So remaining in-state here, we'll see here how they fare. Santa Clara, Washington State. Santa Clara is now technically the leader in the WCC, so they're going to avoid an upset there. Georgia LSU could be a fun one. Creighton Seton Hall, kind of same thing. And other than that, I think we mainly hit it. Late night, couple good ones. San Francisco at St. Mary's, another good WCC clash there. And then obviously UC San Diego heading to Hawaii at midnight Eastern time if you're a sicko. I always enjoy watching those Hawaii games late night. And then Sunday, like I said, there actually is some good games before the Super Bowl. I featured, the two best ones, that Tulsa USF, Texas Tech, West Virginia. But Michigan heads to Ohio State, rivalry game there. We'll see. UCF heads to Cincinnati, and Cincinnati just blew their game against West Virginia on Thursday night. And UCF, fresh off that upset, projected to be a close one. UNC, Greensboro, and Furman, a good SoCon matchup there. So, yeah, some decent matchups here. Even Rice, UAB could be a good one. Charlotte, Memphis as well in the American. Charlotte's up there for the lead in Wichita State, Tulane as well. So, yeah, some good American contests as well here on Sunday. But that's going to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said at the beginning of the video, we're going to have a lot of content here. I mean, I'm going to have a video. There should be at least 4 videos next week, if not, maybe even 5. We'll see how I'm feeling. A lot more streams and stuff as well, too. It's time. It's not March yet, but Cole Adams, one of my favorite Twitter follows in the college basketball space. He's a big hashtag locked in March. Shoot DaRock is getting locked in March here in February. Once the calendar flips past the Super Bowl and football's over, like it is all go on college basketball. So if you're super into college basketball, or even just kind of getting into it now that football's coming to an end, this is the place to be. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like this video if you're enjoying the comments. Like I said, keep commenting your picks for these games down below. I'm going to shout out people that get some correct picks on the comments. Or also check out all my socials. I post these clips on TikTok. I post lots of graphics on Twitter and Instagram with my games to watch pretty much daily at this point. So you can comment your picks on those as well. Like I said, I'm going to be shouting some people out. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.